I never know if this is working, guys. I swear I don't mean to have the weirdest and most awkward intros. Um, there we go. I think we are actually, in fact, live. Ooh, UXF. Interesting first experience, by the way. We just had a hurricane here a couple of days ago. A couple of you guys reached out to me, which was cool. Um, my kids slept through the entire thing. We were without electricity for like a day and a day and a half, but you know, it was for the most part pretty good, like all things considered. So we survived. We got some awesome questions this week, so I think we should just get into the Q&A. I don't have anything specific for you guys to get before we get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. So let's get into the questions. Howard, how would we feel on getting insurance leads for roofers? Howard, I pulled this one from another group, but I thought you're in our group. I'll tell you just how the people I know who are getting insurance leads for roofers is you kind of just like you have basic generic roofing keywords on AdWords kind of thing, and you call the people out and say, want to know if your job is covered by insurance? And then your landing page talks about covering for insurance, and then the form is just like a see if you qualify kind of thing, and that's it. That's the whole shtick. So I don't think it needs to be like super, super complicated. That's how you get insurance leads. You want to think about a lot of times like your ad is like a gatekeeper or a bouncer at a nightclub, right? So if you're trying to get insurance people, call them out. Do you need help, or do you want to find out if your roof is covered by insurance? And then the landing page talks all about see if you qualify. These are the things that normally we can cover. Fill out this form. So you want to make it just like really, really simple and straightforward. Christian, any recommendations on a software or service to make Facebook ads, video ads quickly and easily? Are people generally using these services or full-blown editing stuff like Final Cut, Premiere? I have Premiere. I just don't want to waste time learning it. Christian, a lot of people I know use InVideo.io. I don't have any direct experience with them, so I'm not going to tell you like good or bad. Having said that, what I've found that works best in video is actually we just did a training, I don't know, a couple of days ago before the hurricane here, about dramatic demonstrations. And instead of trying to make a video that's like really catchy and cool and try and go viral, I like to make videos that sell my product or service, and the best way you can do that was a dramatic demonstration. So think about that, watch that training, put that into a video, and you'll kick ass with your videos. And then you only need to, I'm a big fan of, so for years I used to run Facebook ads and like split test everything. Like we've spent personally, I'd say my own money, probably a couple $100,000 on Facebook ads and between clients easily in the 5 million plus, maybe 10 million. I don't know. I've lost track of it. But having said that, like I used to run Facebook ads and I would run like all kinds of split tests and things like that and try this image, try this copy. And what I would end up with is a bunch of ads that were like kind of running mediocre. And I was never really happy with them. And I came across this guy, I don't know, like 5 years ago named Brad's Ads. And he would work on writing one really great ad and just making sure all of his stuff was on point and making sure it sold his stuff. And instead he focused on creating less but better ads, kind of essentialism model by Greg McKeown. It's a great book about doing less but better. And I've been a huge fan of that ever since. So when we create Facebook ads, instead of trying to create a bunch of videos and pumping out a bunch of stuff, we just think about like, how can we make one kick-ass video that sells our shit for us? I think you'll have a better experience with that. But having said that, if you are hell-bent on a software, InVideo.io, it seems like a lot of people really like it. So I have no direct experience again, so I'm not recommending it. But, anyways. Mohammed. Hey everyone, hoping someone can provide their input on something I'm dealing with. Started lead gen for a carpet cleaning company a few weeks ago and have gotten 27 leads at a decent price. I'm running a video ad compilation of images. The business owner is complaining because the lead quality is poor. Any good practices to improve the quality? I know there are a lot of factors that play into it. Happy to share the copy and lead form if it helps. Thank you. So Mohammed, this is a really common thing. It is a business owner who you generate leads for and they say they're all bad leads. I would say about 40% of the time that's true and you are bringing them bad leads, and 60% of the time they're blaming you for the fact that they can't close people. They're like, they'll do things like, hey, I called the lead back 18 hours later. They're a bad lead. They didn't answer their phone, right? So very rarely is it about a bad lead. It's one of the things you got to do if you're going to do this long term is you ultimately have to help people close those leads, not just generate the leads. And I like to do that in hands-off way, either with training or things like that, but giving them guidelines. So one of the things that we've done in the lawyer space, I've tried a lot of things with, because lawyers suck at answering the phone as well and closing people. One is at the start of the relationship, before you ever turn on the ads, is to run like a test lead through to them to see how they handle it and record it and audit their process. And I'll tell you why you do that. Because it is a lot harder to tell them after you've spent $5,000 that they suck at closing leads than it is beforehand. So I'll give you an example. I had a lawyer named David. He's on the west coast of Canada in Vancouver, British Columbia. And he said to me, it's something lawyers often say, which is never true, by the way. They said, we close 100% of the leads that we get. If it's a case we want, we close it. So I called them up, pretended to be some guy who hurt himself in a car accident, hurt his back, like basically a qualified lead, and watched his company like screw it up and bumble it. And I recorded the phone call and sent him the recording and just said, do you still think you close 100% of the cases you want? Obviously he was shocked, but you have to like help these people do it. So there's some guidelines you got to give them. Speed. You got 3 minutes to call people back. Following up, that's like a really basic thing. Knowing how to close, knowing what to say, scripts and all those kind of things. So if you're going to be in this niche long term, those are problems you're going to have to help people solve. So there's only really two ways I've seen kind of to do that. One is to figure out how to help them close yourself, or see if somebody's already created like a training to help, in your case, I think it was roofers to close on the phone or whatever. Do that, and what you'll find is they actually will be able to close, and you'll be able to like actually help them overall. Sorry, you said carpet cleaning company. But yeah, helping them close those carpet cleaning leads, because often it comes down to they're just not fast enough in following up with people. They say dumb things when they do, and they don't follow up with people, and they don't know how to close on the phone. All of those things will like stand in the way of you generating business. Emmanuel, a business manager I'm part of has just been hacked. $2,000 per campaign have been created in each ad account. I've been removed as admin. I only got employee access and can't touch anything. How do I get in touch with Facebook? You got to click through on their support. It's kind of like hidden. I've done it a few times and I always forget where to do it. You can also open up a messenger chat with them. It's a pain in the ass, just so you know. They will reverse the charges and they will cancel it and they will restore you, but I had to send like 10 messages. It took a month and a half. Facebook has the shittiest customer support on earth, so be prepared that you're going to have to wait a while. So the first thing they did, relatively quickly, they turned off the ads for me and reversed the charges. They saw that my account was hacked. But getting my own access restored was a pain in the ass. That took a while. It's just part of the deal. I'm sorry that it's that way, Emmanuel, but that's Facebook. Ryan, what's something you wish you knew before you started your agency? I'll tell you what I wish I knew. It took me a lot of years to realize this, is how important it is to have a tight, well-defined niche, and not something really, even like something like just saying I work with lawyers is too broad. And I'll tell you why it's so important, because at some point you will start getting clients and you will try to scale. And if you're doing custom work, your scaling job will be incredibly, incredibly difficult, because you'll just have like, every you'll have to reinvent the wheel with every client. And the way our agency runs now, which is so much different, is like, I get to, like, what I do for client 1 is the same thing I do for client 2, is the same thing I do for client 3, is the same thing I do for client 4, 5, 6. So it just goes on and on and on. And because of that, like, life just gets easier. And so I really wish I knew how important that piece was, is how important it is to say no. No to all of the things that fit outside these bubble. And it's usually because we just have big, kind hearts. We want to help people. And I found the best way to deal with that is when it comes outside of this little bubble, is to have somebody you can recommend, to like say like, okay, sorry, I don't handle those things, but I put you in touch. That way you're still serving the client or potential client with it, but you're also like keeping your system tight, because the more and more custom work you do, the harder and harder you're going to have to like scale. I wish I knew that in the beginning, because I did not. Justin, this was more a rant, but I liked it, Justin. Friendly public service announcement for you to share with your clients in the home services niche. I've requested info from plumbers, contractors, roofers, etc. in the past few weeks as I'm having work done on my home, i.e., I am a lead. I kid you not. 0 and 7 got back to me. After waiting several days, I had to recontact them to get info, schedule an estimate. I know that we marketers work hard to drive these types of leads for our clients, so it's frustrating when they don't do their part and follow up. Marketers, you are doing great work. I became a lead. Clients need to do their part and close. Okay, rant over. All right, first of all, Justin, that's a great rant. Because I know so many of us can feel this frustration in doing that. Ultimately, when you're running an agency, you really have to either train clients on the importance of that, and there's lots of ways to do that. Like one of the things Jeff Miller I've seen do is they send their clients an automated text notification that just says, hey, somebody called and tried to give you money and you didn't answer the phone. And when they feel the pain of that lost income, they realize what's happening. Also, another option I've seen work really well is just to take it completely out of their hands altogether. That's really, really key. But overall, like, the whole bad leads thing is a really common thing. We could probably do like a 20-hour training on all the different ways I've tried to handle that one and the pros and cons of each of those things. But let's just say, good rant. I agree with you, Justin. Nick, how do you create urgency on sales calls? Nothing more frustrating than get to the end and realizing if it ain't close to the end, LOL. This is a great presentation, Nick. I'll get back to you, let's say Monday. This all sounds great. Let me take a look at the numbers of our other advertising, and I'll let you know in a few days. Gotta run it by insert random irrelevant thing or person, and we'll let you know after we talk. Let's chew on this, and I'll give you a call. Anyone else cringe when they read those? Haha, we've heard them all. In my opinion, it's how you tee up the sales calls. I make sure my customers know I only work with one company per city and niche, and that I'm taking it to another level that's also richer. What's y'all go-to urgency creator? I'll tell you, Nick, actually, the best urgency creator is to create what I call a mini monopoly where you're the only one who does what you do, and then a lot of that bullshit disappears. In the beginning, I'll tell you, when I used to do SEO, and SEO was commonplace and they could get it a lot of places, that meant Frankie Finn got shopped around, and so did his SEO agency. So that meant, hey, can you send me a proposal? And hey, I'm just sending you this message to follow up and follow up and follow up. And yeah, I would close some sales, but man, it was real fucking work. The minute you have something that they want that they can't get a lot of places, and you can put in, like you said, that urgency factor of like, I only work with one person per area, or things like that. Another thing that we've done is we create like a smaller version of that intro offer called a first date offer. And when you make the size of the offer smaller, one of the things you can do is you can say, hey, very upfront, you can say if you're doing call, is that I'm gonna talk to you about some things that are going on, and if I have something that's a fit for you, I'm gonna make you an offer, and I'm totally okay with you telling me no, just so you know. Like, if it's not a fit for you, that's cool, but what I don't accept are maybes, so I'm gonna ask you just for a yes or no if we can run a little test, if it makes sense. Is that cool? And if they say yes, you can eliminate a lot of those things before they come up. Is don't give me a maybe. Give me a definitive yes or no, and then when you give them like the small test, it creates urgency. Do you want to do it or do you want to not do it? And that's a good way of handling that as well. I found that to be the best way, at least for us. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it works for us. Francisco. Hello, group. So I'm exploring to target doctors, physicians, cardiologists, urologists. So I'm thinking besides Google and Facebook ads and maybe some social media, which is hard to do the specifics, what other recurring services would you think can add value? Francisco, I'm going to give you a strong word of caution that those are bad niches, because most of their money comes directly from like insurance. They don't necessarily have a desire to grow their business, and most of it is done through referrals. Like a cardiologist gets 100% of his business through referrals, and that's very likely not going to change. So I would not target any sort of general doctors unless they do elective kind of procedures or their alternatives. So chiropractors where they pay cash, or sometimes physiotherapists can be good. Plastic surgeons, things like that. But if you're doing like a general practitioner, those, in my experience, are just really bad niches, and you're going to have a really hard time just getting clients because they're not hurting for business, and it's all covered by insurance, and they don't have the same growth goals. So I would say just steer clear of those altogether. Probably not the answer you're looking for, but just been my experience. Jovan, I'm not sure how to say that. Hey everyone, I know this group is mainly for people doing SEO, but I'm closely related to the niche at the moment with an idea of growing a full SEO agency in the near future. I'm currently establishing my company as a go-to agency for written content. At the moment, I have 2 long-term clients I'm writing for, but I have an idea of switching to a subscription-based model instead of pay per word. What do you guys think would be the best way of promoting my content writing business? I've started working on an ebook, preparing 10 plus long form blog posts with tips and tricks, and I'm planning on starting a YouTube channel that will go along with the content I'll publish on my website. Also, I'm not sure yet which niche to target, so I'd appreciate any recommendations with that as well. Javon, I know there's this thing that says, okay, so you got a new offer, you got to build a blog, you got to put yourself out there, but this is a little bit counterintuitive, but the things you do for clients are not necessarily the things you should do to get clients. And I'll tell you, the simplest, easiest, most direct way is to think about who has big writing ongoing needs. And I'll tell you, most likely they are bigger, more successful SEO companies that have a need for content all day, every day, ongoing. So you mentioned you have 2 recurring clients. By the way, recurring clients just happen to be way better than like one-time clients, like somebody requests a 10-pack of articles and then goes away and you never hear from them again. You want clients that want it month after month after month, and that need is not going to go away. So I would look at some of the bigger SEO agencies, and you can never go wrong by saying, hey, I would like to give you a free article or a couple of free articles that you can use to kind of open up the door for a relationship. But do that very strategically. Don't just offer the whole world free SEO articles. Offer it to people who have a consistent, ongoing need. And some people will call these power partners or referral partners. You want to not just do this like onesie, twosie randomly, but you want to offer it very, very strategically to the people who can like do the most with it. And you do that. I've never really had anybody say no to like, hey, I want to give you some free quality content to show you what I can do for you. Would you be open to that? It's an easy no-brainer offer. And every time you do about 5 of those, you might get 1 or 2 really solid paying clients. So expect that sometimes you're just going to give away some content and not go anywhere. But you do that consistently, you will get like ongoing paying deals. And again, is giving away 5 or 10 or even 50 free articles worth getting thousands of back-end business? I think so personally. So that would be my suggestion for you. And as far as the niche part of it, I don't know. I mean, look at what you're already doing for people that you could crank out easily. So for us, for like years, all my clients were in plastic surgery. I could just crank out content in that niche like all day, every day. I had lots of stuff. So I would suggest going to whatever your go-to is that's working best for you now. Yoel, question. I'm going to be testing 3 different prices on a graphic in one ad set, ABC test, so to say. Do I have to worry about one person seeing multiple ads? So will they see different prices or will Facebook only show them one? I'm not using Facebook A/B testing feature. Yoel, this is called audience overlap, and believe it or not, it's a good thing, not a bad thing, so you don't need to worry. I'll tell you, nobody will tell you this, but if you run Facebook ads to the same audience over and over and over and over and over, you would think you want to reach more and more strangers, but actually your ads become more effective with repetitions. This has kind of been studied in advertising for, 100 years. Is like when people hear the same ads and the same jingles and they start to hear them over, that's how brands are built. I found like in the lawyer space, once we hit about 6 months of running the same ads to the same people, and yeah, we changed them and cycled images, what we found is all of our ads worked, and it wasn't because I became such a brilliant copywriter. It was just because we became familiar to them at some point. So don't sweat it if your ads are overlapping. It might not give you perfect A/B testing, but it'll give you good enough data to know which ads are working and which ones aren't. But keep running ads to the same people as long as you want to be in business for those people. And the last one we got here, Nettie. Why? So out of nowhere, I've suddenly been notified my personal account is restricted from advertising. This account is maybe 10 plus years old with no major issues. The business manager remains unrestricted, but I'm the only user with access to the ad account. Facebook ad asked me to confirm my identity due to suspicious activity, which I've done, and now the wait. The only thing I did today was change the audience setting on a campaign. Haha. Question, what the fuck is going on at Facebook? Why are there so many reports of this? Question 2, the setup was business manager and ad account set up under the brand name, email address. I was running it with the access as a user from my personal Facebook ad account. Is this the correct setup? Question number 1, dude, Nettie, I'm just so sorry for you. Like, I hear this so often. People get kicked out of Facebook. I really only have 3 kind of things. We've got a script. You can search it in the group. That'll help you get your ad account back. Use it. It's effective. No guarantees. We're not Facebook. I don't control Facebook. I don't claim to. But use that. You'll get it back. most likely it's still a pain in the ass. Second thing is, get off of Facebook long term. Like, never put all your eggs in one single basket. I know even if that basket is kicking ass, you want to have at least, I would say, minimum 5 diverse sources of lead sources if you want to be in business for 10 years, which I think most of the people listening to this would like to be, at least. I have that kind of success. I got some bugs flying by my head. And then the third thing is always, 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 when you're running traffic, convert it into an audience you control. Facebook, into your email list, into your own group, into your social media channels, but convert it into your own audience that you can turn on and off at will, because this can happen and does happen, and unfortunately happens far too frequently. But send me a message and I'll send you that script if you can't find it in the group, and we'll get you hopefully get your ad count back. That's all the stuff I got for you guys this week. Damn, the bugs are intense. Hurricane day. Gonna go lay in bed and do some work and hit up some peeps. So I hope that was super helpful for you guys. I got much love for you guys, you agency owners. I say this a lot, but I mean it. You guys are the coolest peeps on the planet. And yeah, anyways, that's all I got for you. So may the force be with you.